This is the most underrated Samsung phone of the year that can save you $1,000. Welcome to the broke corner, cause not everyone can afford to buy $1,000 Galaxy S flagship, or not everyone even need to buy $1,000 flagship phone when these exist. This is Samsung's latest Galaxy A series for 2025. Despite what you think, these phones are continuously the best-selling Android phones year after year. For some specific reasons, people are buying Galaxy A series phones. I've spent 1 month testing out the A56, A36, and A26. Here is the truth. While you're praying for a One UI 7 update on your phone, these phones actually come with One UI 7 based on Android 15 right out of the box, along with 6 major Android updates, meaning these A series phones will get updates up to Android 21, which is actually kinda insane. But again, the question is, are these actually worth your money? So without wasting any time, as someone who uses flagship phones, I was quite surprised to experience the Galaxy A series, particularly the A56 because of its design. While it's not massively changed compared to A55 visually, Samsung has made the A56 lighter and thinner, and it actually feels good in hand. And this design looks very similar to the S25 to the point where normal person can't really tell the difference. Now you get a similar look with the A36 and A26, but they have a plastic frame instead of aluminum on the A56. They all use Gorilla Glass Victus Plus for almost flagship level protection, along with IP67 water and dust resistance rating. Now up front, all of them have a display around 6.7-inch Full HD Plus 120Hz refresh rate, 2000 nits of brightness on A36 and A56, while A26 has a little lower brightness but still a great panel overall. The major difference is how they look, and you can see A26 definitely has a much older U-shaped notch, which is definitely quite dated even at its affordable price. I mean, if you look at the competition, you definitely have better looking front display options out there. But I have to say, Galaxy A56 just looks the best out of all these phones in terms of just overall design. If I have to sum it up, A56 feels like you're using almost like a flagship level phone, while both A36 and A26 gives you a feeling of a mid-range phone, if you get what I'm saying. And this becomes more obvious when you look at the camera experience. The A56 has a 50 megapixel main camera that takes really good photos in pretty much all lighting, and this time Samsung has brought nightography algorithm with night photos. I have to say, Samsung processing really kicks in and is perhaps the best camera I've tried out on a Galaxy A series ever, to the point where the photos are looking very similar to what I would get on default on, let's say, Galaxy S25. It also has a proper 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, which not only gives you high resolution photos compared to the 8 megapixel that we have on the A36 and the A26, it also shoots 4K 30 FPS video. Speaking of video, Galaxy A56 shoots perhaps one of the best videos in this segment. Although it is limited to 4K 30 FPS, I wish it could do 4K 60, but the fact that I can slow any 4K 30 FPS video down to any seconds I want while keeping high-res 4K resolution is pretty insane. And this is one of those features that Samsung kept exclusive to the Galaxy A56 model. Also, the front camera might be the best that I've tried out in this segment, pretty close to how I experienced on, let's say, a flagship Galaxy S phone. Selfies are pretty clear, crisp, they have a lot of detail, strong HDR, and once again, solid 4K 30 FPS option. Like, if you're someone who's looking for an Android phone that can shoot great video in this price segment, A56 is really good. Now, as someone who primarily uses a flagship phone, I definitely miss having a telephoto lens. Like, honestly, if this has a telephoto lens, this is perhaps one of the most complete Samsung phones you can buy, and saving hundreds of dollars. Now, in comparison to the Galaxy A36 and A26, I have to say the images look pretty close because they all have main 50 megapixel sensor with optical image stabilization. These are not exactly the same sensors, but the results are pretty comparable. Like, just from the main camera perspective, Samsung didn't take too much away from the A26, apart from the other lenses, of course. I would say in low light, the Galaxy A56 starts to take the lead because of its nightography. So if you really want the best camera experience at the most budget, that has to be Galaxy A56. Now, perhaps the biggest reasons why people would buy Galaxy A series phones in the first place is because of the software experience. Samsung knows this very well, which is why you're getting One UI 7.0 based on Android 15 right out the box across all these models with 6 years of major OS updates. That is something you're just not gonna find on the competition. So One UI 7 on the Galaxy A series brings most of the core features of what you see on the S25 series, minus the full suite of Galaxy AI features. So you do get Now Brief on the lock screen, which is pretty helpful, and it's got great animations. You get Circle to Search, one of my absolute favorite feature on Samsung phones. You get the new overall UI look along with the brand new icons, new camera UI, new animations. Is pretty much my favorite Android skin right now, or even just a general UI wise. I really like One UI 7. You do get the useful AI features like the object eraser as well as image remaster. You get the latest version of the Google Gemini, which gives you pretty much everything, including the ability to translate stuff, which you don't get by default. Like, you don't have those Galaxy AI translate features from the S series. You can definitely find more AI features on other phones in this price segment. So for some reason, Samsung decided to keep most of their AI features exclusive to the S series. The most important question to ask is, how well does these Galaxy A series phones run One UI 7? For the most part, it runs good across all the phones, but as someone who primarily uses flagship phones, I'm really used to smooth experience, and I have to say Galaxy A56 out of all these three is the smoothest A series phone I have tried out of the last few years. Like, I can use this phone, and if I go to my flagship phone, I really don't feel that much of a difference. While when I'm testing A36 and A26, the difference is definitely noticeable. I wouldn't say it's like bad or anything, but it is something that's noticeable. Like, when you have a lot of apps open and you go to the multitasking tray, you're gonna notice a little hiccups here and there to remind you that you are kind of using a mid-range phone. But that's something very occasional on the A56, perhaps thanks to its latest Exynos 1580 chip, and of course Samsung's optimization. They all have different budget processors, and honestly these have come quite a long way. Like, you can pretty much play most games out there from medium to high settings. They're also very power efficient, so across all the Galaxy A series phones you get pretty much 2 days of battery life, which is just amazing. But in my experience, the A56 was definitely the most smoothest one across all these three phones. You also get 45-watt fast charging on the A56 and A36, which is great, while 25-watt is what you get on the Galaxy A26. So all in all, if you're looking for the best Samsung experience at the most affordable price, like actually getting almost Samsung flagship-like experience, then A56 is the best one. You can find good deals on it right now online if you look for it. Obviously, the absolute cheapest entry into Samsung experience would be the Galaxy A26. It's got good basic features covered in, combined with One UI 7 along with 6 years of major OS updates, a pretty decent 50 megapixel main sensor. Like, it's got all of Samsung basic stuff covered. So if you just want that, A26 would do that. But considering longevity, I don't know how well it's gonna run like the future One UI versions, like the One UI 8 or One UI 9. Galaxy A36 is what Samsung offers as kind of a middle ground, but in terms of its like actual usage, I would just prefer to spend a little bit more and get the A56 because you're getting a noticeable smoother experience with the UI. You have an actual good ultra wide that you can even compare to the flagship phones, shoots 4K 30 FPS across all the lenses, and you can slow those videos down using the power of AI, which works really well. Plus, I think Galaxy A56 is very underrated for the experience it provides, especially when you compare it to the competition. As I said, the competition in the budget segment is quite fierce. You're probably going to end up finding like better specs with other competing phones. But when you look at why Samsung keeps on selling these phones so good year on year because of their software and their ecosystem, you really don't have other super budget options to enter that experience. Can you save money by going for last year's A55? That's also a good option. But the fact that you're getting Android 15 out of the box, One UI 7, 6 years of major OS updates, and even smoother performance in real life compared to what I experienced last year, if you can actually buy it, it might be worth it. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. As always, subscribe if you're new here. With that being said, I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.